Suspicious fire ties back to Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard amid corruption allegations, a building long associated with controversy in the village of Dolton, Illinois, went up in flames recently, and many residents immediately recognized it. The Nurse Trucking Company, which has been sitting idle since January of last year. That's when the village accused the business of illegally selling liquor during a party hosted at the site. Although the building's owner, Larry Gardner, denied the charges and the judge ultimately ruled in his favor, tensions between Gardner and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard have persisted ever since. The fire, which authorities are now calling suspicious, erupted in the early morning hours, consuming the structure and several vehicles parked outside. Video footage shows flames bursting dramatically through the windows, and the fire department was forced to respond under risky conditions. This is the type of stuff the firemen have to deal with, one observer remarked, reflecting on how dangerous it could have been if anyone had tried to enter the building just before the blaze erupted. WGN Investigates revealed that the location was previously raided by the Illinois Secretary of State Police in December. 10 of the roughly 50 cars on the property were found to be stolen. Gardner had claimed he merely rented space to others and had no idea the vehicles were hot. But this connection, along with past disputes over licensing, has kept the property under public scrutiny. Observers online quickly pointed out the strange links between the building and the mayor. Remember when the village got those new police cars, and then a bunch of the old cars just disappeared? Where did they all go? It's giving this, one commenter speculated, suggesting the lot may have been where those missing vehicles ended up. That the property just happened to go up in flames after federal attention had turned its way raised even more eyebrows. Gardner has long accused Mayor Henyard of political retaliation. Speaking to WGN late last year, he claimed that after initially complying with her request for a $3 $500 donation to the village when she first took office, he later refused to keep paying, and that's when his troubles with the village began. Because I wouldn't donate the money anymore, I wouldn't give her any more money, he explained. Henyard, who was sworn in nearly 3 years ago as Dalton's first female mayor, also holds the position of Thornton Township Supervisor. Her image is prominently displayed outside Village Hall, but in recent years, she's become the subject of intensifying allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and political intimidation. Village trustees, local business owners, and even the Illinois Attorney General's office have raised concerns about her leadership. There's a lot of mismanagement of funds, and we're just trying to get some clarity so we can move forward and understand what's going on with all the spending, said one trustee at a public meeting. That meeting, notably, had to be held at the local park district rather than Village Hall. Some trustees claimed they were being locked out of the official building. Meanwhile, running a business in Dalton has become increasingly difficult. Several local businesses have been shut down over unresolved licensing disputes, including Gardner's Lawrence Garden building. Many residents recall Henyard personally involving herself in crackdowns, including one high-profile raid, where Gardner was accused of running an illegal club out of property under the misleading name Candy and Stuff. While the storefront suggested a candy store, Henyard and her supporters claimed it was actually operating as an unlicensed club or party venue. Gardner denied the allegations, maintaining that the space was above board and that the accusations were part of Henyard's campaign of retaliation against him after he stopped paying her. Observers pointed out that Henyard's crackdown focused heavily on businesses like his, where the owners had something to lose or something to hide, the kind of leverage a corrupt official could exploit, as one commentator put it. You can't have skeletons in your closet and deal with a corrupt person. That's the only reason they want you around, because they know you've got that thing you don't want out, that thing you need protected. Social media commentary around the fire has been sharp-edged and at times mocking. While many sympathize with Gardner's plight, they also poke fun at some of his choices, from the odd name Candy and Stuff to the sight of him hanging his phone from his t-shirt. Sir, I don't like Tiffany, and you don't like Tiffany, so we're on the same side, one online commentator joked. But two things can be true at the same time. I don't like that Candy and Stuff name. That's a weird title for a store, sir. Henyard's reputation has been further damaged by the growing number of official complaints and investigations. Recently, a special resolution was introduced by village trustees calling for a federal investigation into Henyard's conduct, citing accusations of corruption, misuse of village funds, and political retaliation. While the FBI has neither confirmed nor denied whether they are investigating the mayor, multiple sources suggest she has become the focus of broader law enforcement scrutiny. To understand the full scope of this political drama, one must look back to the start of Henyard's administration. After taking office, she reportedly asked local business owners, including Gardner, to make donations to the village. At first, many complied, hoping to stay on her good side. But over time, as demands allegedly continued and some business owners resisted, tensions escalated. Several businesses were soon slapped with license revocations or faced sudden enforcement actions, fueling claims that Henyard was punishing those who refused to play along. Gardner, in particular, became a prominent figure in this unfolding battle. While he maintains his innocence regarding the stolen cars found on his property, the fact that the property was involved in such matters provided a convenient lever for Henyard's administration to press down on. The fire that consumed Gardner's building now adds another chapter to this already tangled saga. The state fire marshal has been called in to investigate the suspicious blaze. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, but the incident has sparked fresh speculation about what, if anything, might have been intentionally destroyed and why. For residents and observers watching from the sidelines, the entire episode feels like a grim reminder of how deep the dysfunction runs in Dalton. Between the unresolved corruption allegations, the pressure campaigns against local businesses, and now the dramatic destruction of a key property, it's clear that the village is facing challenges far beyond typical small-town political squabbles. As one local commentator summed it up, this is what happens when you mix political retaliation, corruption, and people with something to hide. You end up with burned-down buildings, missing cars, and a whole community left wondering who's really in charge. While the investigation into the fire continues, many in Dalton are waiting anxiously to see whether Henyard will face formal accountability and whether the village can find a path forward from what has become an increasingly toxic and scandal-ridden administration. Would you like me to clean this up further for formal publication or prepare a version formatted for social media sharing? When Tiffany first got into office, she only had the mayor's job, which honestly doesn't pay all that much. That's why she went after Thornton Township supervisor role. She needed something to bring in more money. Kamal, her partner, isn't cheap to maintain, okay? So she allegedly started shaking down businesses. That's the word on the street. Allegedly. Tiffany was running around, pressuring businesses, and that's why no one could open anything without her getting a little taste. You couldn't do anything in Dalton unless Tiffany was on it or benefiting from it. Doesn't that just sound exactly like something she'd pull? Definitely. Allegedly. Now, Gardner, the property owner tied up in all this, says he's been talking to the feds for months. And listen, Tiffany, you should be worried. This man says he's been having regular conversations with federal investigators about you. You should have been concerned. Instead of running around stirring up mess, you maybe should have been kissing up or at least trying to make peace. Because when someone tells you multiple agencies are investigating Dalton and Mayor Henyard, that's not a small thing. Gardner said the investigators told him it wasn't just one agency, it was multiple. Which agencies, though? We know the FBI is involved, but what other ones? Do any of you have an idea what agencies would even be checking into this? The CIA? No, that doesn't sound right. The LAPD? Definitely not. So we wait and see. But one thing for sure, this is not something you want circling around your name, Tiffany. And let's not forget Tiffany Henyard's namesake charity, Tiffany Henyard Cares. On Wednesday, the Illinois Attorney General's office sent her a cease and desist letter over the foundation's failure to report how it spends its funds and who's benefiting. But when the media reached out, a spokesperson for Tiffany and the village said they weren't aware of any investigations, no subpoenas, no contact from the FBI, or any other law enforcement. Yeah, of course they haven't contacted you. They're talking to everybody else about you. Once they have their evidence, then they'll come knocking on your door. Why would they come to you first, Tiffany, when they know you're just going to lie? They wouldn't waste their time. Meanwhile, there was a special trustee meeting scheduled at the Park District, not at the Village Hall, where some trustees felt they were being locked out. On the agenda, a resolution calling for a federal investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard. And you just know Tiffany was going to show up, making noise, stirring things up, as she always does. Now, let's talk about that fire. Arson investigators just wrapped up at the scene, but let's take a minute to look at what happened. You all heard that word, right? Arson. Arson means someone set that fire on purpose. It's a crime. And the way that building went up in flames? Suspicious. Say it with me now. Suspicious. Also known as SUS. Tiffany, I think you're going to need to add this to your growing list of potential legal troubles. Do you all think Tiffany had anything to do with this fire? Do you think maybe there was something inside that building she didn't want discovered? Something Gardner was holding over her head? Did she think, I'm just going to destroy it? I mean, the fire was efficient. Either that, or the building was made of papier-mâché. Honestly, it burned so fast, you'd think it was made just to burn. The way the flames came bursting out of the windows, all synchronized, I don't know. It's giving suspicious. It's giving arson. That's the feeling I'm getting. Neighbors said they heard a crash before they came outside and saw the business engulfed in flames. Oh, I bet they heard a crash. A devastating inferno tearing through the walls of this Dalton business, leaving some cars hollowed out in the facility, just a husk of what it once was. State fire marshals spent hours sifting through the burned debris, investigating. The building had stood there for decades, but it was gone in just hours. One neighbor said, "It's been there since I've been here, and it just burned down like that. History washed away right in front of my eyes this morning." In recent years, the place was called Yvette Trucking and Warehouse, a business offering moving services, U-Haul trucks, trailers, towing equipment, at least until early Tuesday morning, when firefighters were called to the scene near 142nd and Dalton. Imagine waking up to the smell of smoke and the sight of flames just steps away from your home. Some people were saying, how could it burn down? It's not like it was a fire hazard or anything. But listen, anything that burns that fast is a fire hazard. The way it burned, it's like the whole purpose of that building's existence was to be burned down. The roof caved right in. It didn't hold out or put up a fight. It just gave in, fast and complete. That roof was submissive, okay? I'm just saying. Now, the building is at the center of a possible arson investigation. It's a little scary. Tiffany, I really hope you're not involved in this. Because if the feds are investigating, and if your name gets attached to this in any way, you are done. You will not be getting out of this. I wonder Kamal, your partner, has gathered everything he needs. Packed his bags, maybe? I'm not saying you definitely did it, Tiffany. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. That's where I'm at. I wouldn't be surprised if you were trying to get rid of some evidence. That's all I'm saying. Because, frankly, I don't trust you. I think the worst of you. That's the honest-to-God truth. Anything negative someone tells me about you, I'm inclined to believe it. That's just where we're at. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Y'all behave, because I'm definitely not going to. This rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper. Tiffany, why does everything you touch seem to burn down? That's terrible. That's weird. Okay, Mama loves you. Yes, she does. Peace. Would you like me to help polish this further for formal publication, or leave it in this casual, conversational style?